Xabi Alonso is currently thriving in Germany. After taking over at Bayer Leverkusen in October, he's helped to restore the German team's status as one of the greats in just a few months. Despite being in a difficult position when he started, his team's now fighting for a spot in the Champions League and even reached the semi-finals of the Europa League. But Alonso's not the only former Spanish midfielder to become a successful coach. This trend started with Vicente Del Bosque and Pep Guardiola in the late 2000s, and Luis Enrique followed a few years later. Recently, the trend has shifted towards the Basque Country, with top Premier League coaches like Unai Emery and Mikel Arteta also hailing from there. So, how did Xabi Alonso become the next great coach from San Sebastian? Stick around to find out. The story of Xabi Alonso begins in the town of Tolosa, Spain, in 1981. His father, Perico, was also a footballer who played for Real Sociedad at the time, and won 2 La Liga titles with the team. When Xabi was just 1 year old, his father joined Barcelona, and the family moved to the coastal city to chase his dreams. After a few years away, he retired, and the family moved back to the Basque Country, specifically San Sebastian, the epicenter of football in the northern parts of Spain. Growing up, Alonso lived next door to fellow manager-colleague Mikel Arteta, and the two played together at the local club, Antiguoco, for 7 years. At 19 years old, Alonso began playing for the first team at the start of the 2000s, while Arteta moved to Barcelona to pursue his career in Catalonia. Later, the duo would reconnect, but as rivals in the same English city. It's no surprise that they both ended up in the same profession after their careers ended. "We've known each other since we were 7 or 8 years old. We played together in San Sebastian. Then we were neighbors when he was playing for Liverpool, and I was at Everton," Arteta said about his good friend Alonso. Alonso thrived at La Real and became the captain of the club at a young age of 20 years old. His calmness and leadership in the midfield were noticed by Liverpool. The Spain international continued his success in England, playing alongside Steven Gerrard in the midfield at Anfield. Gerrard himself has praised Alonso's abilities, saying, "It was clear Alonso was royalty after our first training session in August of 2004. He was, by some distance, the best central midfielder I ever played alongside." Alonso's biggest match for the Reds came a year later when he started in the midfield against Milan in the famous 2005 Champions League final. The Spaniard, who was only 23 years old at the time, was given the decisive penalty and scored after missing the initial strike. The rest, as they say, is history. However, Alonso's last 4 years at Merseyside were marked by a lack of investment and motivation by the owners, who drove the club into the ground. His coach, Benitez, also began pursuing Englishman Gareth Barry for the same role. Alonso was devastated to leave Liverpool and Gerrard, but he knew he had to take the chance when Real Madrid came knocking on his door. He stayed at Los Blancos for 5 years, winning Real Madrid's famous La Decima Champions League. He also won a league trophy and 3 cup titles. Alonso was also an integral part of the Spain national team from 2008 to 2012, winning 2 Euros and a World Cup. During these years, he became an important player both on and off the pitch, rising to be a dedicated leader in the dressing room for both his club and national team. In the summer of 2014, he left Spain to continue his journey at Bayern Munich with Pep Guardiola. During that period, he retired from the Spain national team, leaving behind 3 major titles in 114 games with the flag on his chest. He won 2 league titles under Guardiola before Ancelotti became his new head coach. In Ancelotti's first season, and Alonso's last, he won another league title before announcing his retirement on March 9, 2017. Alonso's incredible 18-year career came to a close with an astonishing 19 trophies in 3 different countries. The Spaniard had the privilege of playing under the guidance of world-class managers like Rafa Benitez, Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, and Carlo Ancelotti, whose influence helped to mold him into the manager he is today. Alonso's coaching career began shortly after when he took over Real Madrid's under-14 team before he joined his childhood club, Real Sociedad, as the new B-team manager. During his 3 years in San Sebastian, he led the team to promotion to the Segunda division before leaving the club in the summer of 2022. Several semi-big clubs approached Alonso, and he was officially announced as the coach of Leverkusen on October 5th of last year. At the time, the German club was facing relegation with only 5 points in the opening 8 matches. However, that changed quickly. Alonso managed to get the team back on track, and they climbed up the German league table and qualified for the Europa League playoffs through the Champions League group stage. Currently, Leverkusen's thriving and have secured a spot in the semi-finals of the Europa League and are within reach of a Champions League spot in the league. Alonso's successful football career as a player has translated into an impressive start to his coaching career. As we look to the future, it'll be interesting to see where his coaching journey takes him, and whether he'll follow in the footsteps of other Basque coaches like Unai Emery and Mikel Arteta in achieving success in the Premier League. Perhaps one day we'll see him back at Liverpool, but only time will tell for this sympathetic and strong leader from San Sebastian. Thanks for watching this video, and make sure to follow and subscribe for future videos from Untold Football. Do you have any ideas for an untold or interesting story in the footballing world? Please leave a comment after the video. We are here for the Untold Football Stories.